Yoga. Yoga is the journey of the self, through the self, to the self, from the Bhagavad Gita. The origins of yoga can be traced back to ancient India, over 5,000 years ago. The earliest written texts on yoga, known as the Vedas, were compassed around this time and described the practice of meditation and physical postures for spiritual development. Over time, various schools of yoga developed, each with their own unique philosophies and practices. The most well-known and widely practiced forms of yoga today include Hatha yoga, which focuses on physical postures and breath control, and Raja yoga, which emphasizes meditation and the attainment of spiritual insights. The modern form of yoga, which has been popularized in the West, is a combination of these ancient teachings and practices. Let's begin with the mythology. Yoga began in the Himalayan region. Shiva was the first one to have put this seed of yoga into the human mind. According to the lore, over 15,000 years ago, Shiva attained to his full enlightenment and abandoned himself in an intense ecstatic dance upon the Himalayas. When his ecstasy allowed him some movement, he danced wildly. 7 people saw he was experiencing something that nobody had known before, something that they were unable to fathom. They were insistent that they must learn what this man had in him. They put themselves through rigorous training and practice for 84 years. The Adiyogi looked at these 7 people and saw that they had become shining receptacles of knowing. They were absolutely ripe to receive. He could not ignore them anymore. They grabbed his attention. That was when he decided to become a guru. The Adiyogi transformed himself into the Adi Guru. The first guru was born on that day, which is today celebrated as Guru Purnima. On the banks of Kanti Sarovar, a lake that lies a few kilometers above Kedarnath, he turned south to shed his grace upon the human race, and the transmission of the yogic science to these 7 people began. The names of the Saptarishi are Atri, Bhrigu, Kashyapa, Marichi, Pulastya, Pulaha, Vashishta. The Saptarishi are also considered as the mind-born sons of the creator god Brahma. They are also seen as the guardians of the 7 directions. The sages carried this powerful yogic science to different parts of the world, including Asia, the Middle East, Northern Africa and South America. Interestingly, modern scholars have noted and marveled at the close parallels found between ancient cultures across the globe. However, it was in India that the yogic system found its fullest expression. Agastya, the Saptarishi who traveled across the Indian subcontinent, crafted this culture around a core yogic way of life. So let's have a reality check. Mythology is not history. The stories in mythology might have been created for various reasons. To convey deep mystic teachings in the form of a story. To help people to develop devotion for a personified form of the ultimate truth, as an aid towards self-realization, or to entertain people. A Puranic story always has multiple contradictory versions, each of them created by people to glorify their own favorite personal god. So who is the real Adiyogi? During 200 BC or 300 BC, a great yogi called Nandinatha lived in Mount Kailash. He was a real human being who walked this planet and was the guru of the great Patanjali. He initiated 8 disciples: Sanatkumar, Sanakar, Sanadanar, Sananthanar, Shivayagamuni, Patanjali, Vyagrapada, and Tirumular, and sent them to various parts of the world, including Central Asia, to spread Advaita Shaivism. The whole yogic tradition goes back to Patanjali, whose guru was Nandinatha. Nandinatha also composed a poem with 26 verses called Nandikeshvara Kashika. Even today, the Nandinatha Yog tradition regards Nandinatha as the Adiyogi. A school of this lineage called Adinatha does regard Shiva as the first yogi, but that was just a title given to Nandinatha, since Shiva means auspicious. Tirumular, a well-known Tamil saint and the disciple of Nandinatha, was actually the one sent by Adiyogi to South India to spread this school, not Agastya. Shiva sending sage Agastya to South India to balance the earth was just another Puranic story, and even that story doesn't say that he was sent to South India to teach yoga. Again, this is not to deny the significance of Agastya. He was a great siddha who made great contribution to the world. Then let's see historical evidence of yoga in different cultures. Yoga is an ancient practice that originated in India more than 5,000 years ago. Its origins can be traced back to the Indus Valley civilization, where seals depicting figures in yoga-like postures have been found. The earliest written records of yoga are found in the Vedas, a collection of texts that date back to 1500 to 1200 BCE. The goal of yoga is to unite the individual self with the divine, or ultimate reality, and it includes a variety of practices such as physical postures, breathing exercises, meditation, and ethical principles. Yoga has evolved and spread over time to become a popular form of physical fitness and spiritual practice all over the world. During the period between 500 BC 800 AD is considered as the most fertile and prominent period in the history and development of yoga. During this period, commentaries of Vyasa on Yoga Sutras and
Bhagavad Gita
and other work came into existence. This period can be mainly dedicated to two great religious teachers of India, God Mahavir and God Buddha. The concept of 5 great vows, 5 moral principles by Mahavir and Eightfold Path by Buddha can be well considered as early nature of yoga sadhana. We find its more explicit explanation in
Bhagavad Gita,
which has elaborately presented the concept of Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. These 3 types of yoga are still the highest example of human wisdom, and even today people find peace by following the methods as shown in Gita. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, besides containing various aspects of yoga, is mainly identified with Eightfold Path of Yoga. Yoga works on the level of one's body, mind, emotion, and energy. This has given rise to 4 broad classifications of yoga. Karma Yoga, where we utilize the body. Bhakti Yoga, where we utilize the emotions. Jnana Yoga, where we utilize the mind and intellect. And Kriya Yoga, where we utilize the energy. Each system of yoga we practice would fall within the gamut of one or more of these categories. Every individual is a unique combination of these 4 factors. All the ancient commentaries on yoga have stressed that it is essential to work under the direction of a guru. The reason being that only a guru can mix the appropriate combination of the 4 fundamental paths, as is necessary for each seeker. Yoga education. Traditionally, yoga education was imparted by knowledgeable, experienced, and wise persons in the families, comparable with the education imparted in convents in the West, and then by the seers, rishis, munis, acharyas in ashramas compared with monasteries. Yoga education, on the other hand, aims at taking care of the individual, the being. It is presumed that a good, balanced, integrated, truthful, clean, transparent person will be more useful to oneself, family, society, nation, nature, and humanity at large. Yoga education is being-oriented. Details of working with being-oriented aspect have been outlined in various living traditions and texts, and the method contributing to this important field is known as yoga.